Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex Mizuki here from Mr. Build It. Welcome to my very sad backyard. This is where we have a family fire pit. So let me show you how we can take this very sad corner and turn it into that. So without wasting your time, let's get into the video. Let's go.
All right, guys, just like any other project, prep work is going to be everything, except this is a little bit of a heavier project, so you can't really have an opportunity to go back and undo things that you screwed up on. So ensure there are no sprinkler lines running on the area that you're going to be placing your paver pad. Relocate them, close them off. Just make sure you don't have any pavers going on top of these lines. Once you got your area clean, clear, and ready to go, use stakes, drive them into the ground, and wrap string around them, around the area that you want to work on with. I use also marking paint for the ground to kind of paint a picture exactly how I want my pavers to run and where to dig. The area that I'm working with, it's not a square, it's not a rectangle, a triangle, or a circle. It kind of encompasses all the polygons in one, so having these marking devices really help paint a picture of how I want this area to look. Once you got your area marked and figured out, start digging. They recommend to dig between 5 and 7 inches of the topsoil to accommodate the few inches of gravel mix, the sand, and the pavers themselves. At the end of the day, they want your pavers to sit leveled with your grass, specifically the base of your grass. You don't want it to be out of whack, too high or too low. That's going to create a whirlwind of complications as the seasons change. In the digging process, specifically when you got a lot of roots, it's probably a good idea to kind of recruit an extra set of hands to make this process a little bit easier. Once you got your area dug out and ready to go, it's a good idea to take a rake, level off the area, and then take a tamper and tamp down the area to kind of give you a rough idea which way you have a slope. You want a gentle slope to come away from your fence line, and at the same time not to have any kind of highs or low spots to prevent any kind of pooling later down the road. This essentially is the last step before we start laying down the foundation of the gravel mix. Now for the gravel mix, they recommend between 3 to 4 inches of a solid gravel mix base. This is basically your foundation, but it's also your drainage system. That's where the rocks come into place for when you have wet weather, the area doesn't start sloping down. It creates a slower drainage system to prevent this area from ever breaking down. What I found helpful is once I dumped all the loads of gravel mix into the area, I used a rake to kind of level off and spread off the area. And then really roughly, I took a 2x4 that was roughly between 8 and 10 feet long. I placed it down and I kind of checked both the length, the width, and the angles to make sure there's a consistent leveled slope that kind of comes away from the fence line onto my grassy area. Now, again, you don't have to get it perfect. This is just a general foundation. You want to make sure that there's no extra high spots in one area as opposed to the other area. Once you get it roughly leveled out, I then took a tamper once again and started compacting the gravel mix. Now, this is a very important step, mostly because you don't want this stuff to start settling. There's a few options you could take. You can use a 10-inch tamper like I am, or if you have access to one of those pneumatic compactors, that's another option to take, but a hand tamp or a tamper will work just fine as well. Once you got everything tampered and leveled off, this is a perfect part of the weekend project to wrap up day one. We're going to finish it off with lightly misting the area with water to help the sand settle down into the base, creating a nice, solid, dense foundation, and we'll resume tomorrow morning. All right, now day two, we're going to start introducing the sand. We're using a paver base sand, and what that does is it acts as both a level but also a seat for the pavers themselves. That way it redistributes the pressure points so the pavers never crack if you were to drive on them or something like that. Now for the paver base, I went to the same place I got my gravel mix to make it nice and cheap for me, spend the same $25 for the truckload. The best way to do this is to lay down 2 1-inch PVC pipes in the area that you're going to be installing your pavers, covering them with the sand, and then taking a 2x4 and start kind of leveling off the area using the PVC pipes. See where the low spots are, add a little bit more sand, and start scraping it off one more time. Finish off the entire area, getting it ready for the pavers to be installed. Once the sand is leveled off, carefully remove the PVC pipe to get things ready to start installing the pavers. Now when it comes to installing your pavers, you'll have to pick out a pattern. There's different types of patterns out there, from running bonds to basket weave to herringbone, and different combinations that are out there. Some of these combinations might be limiting to the type of stone that you choose to go with. What made it easy for me is I just went on the Pavestone website, chose the type of pattern that I wanted to see, and then decided on the rock to go from there. Installing the paver is actually really simple. Gently lay the paver on top of the sand, and then from that point on, continue the pattern. The best piece of advice I'll give you is keeping the joints as tight together as possible. In the long run, each paver is going to depend on one another for strength on its sides. So this is the best piece of advice I can give you. Now, when you get to areas where the PVC channels are exposed, just gently take a little bit of sand and fill in those areas to continue your pattern. You can definitely walk on the paver pad before it's all set in place. Just keep in mind not to let the pavers move side to side or else it'll disturb its level. For some of the outside pieces that will need to be cut, you can just easily do that with an angle grinder and a masonry blade. This is super easy. Make your mark, make your cut, and install the stone. Once all the pavers are laid out, it's time to set and level them off with a plate compactor. You can rent a plate compactor from a variety of different tool rental places, but Home Depot made it very convenient to have a tool rental department in their stores. For about $60, they'll let you rent a plate compactor for 4 hours, which 4 hours is more than enough. I think I got everything finished off and returned within 2. You'll need to pick up some polymeric sand, which acts as a joining compound between all the joints of these pavers. First, before you do so, go over the area with the plate compactor first, then sweep all over the place the polymeric sand, then go over the plate compactor once again. Once everything is leveled, finished, and set, brush off the remainder of the polymeric sand and lightly mist the area with water to activate the polymeric sand to start the joining process. Ensure that when you do this process, it doesn't rain for the next day or so to prevent anything from getting washed off. Now for the seating and entertaining part of this pad, we went with the RumbleStone Concrete Garden Bench Kit and the number 4 square fire pit. Now it's really neat. What the company did is they basically pre-assembled these pallets full of large, medium, and small or mini bricks, the exact number of bricks needed, and then you can just download the plans on their website to see the exact combination that you need to create these creations. And it's nice because there's no cutting, there's no customization. You stack them all together like Legos, and then use a heavy-duty construction adhesive, like a concrete adhesive, and then stack them all together. Now the wood was separate. I had to buy the 2x4 by 10 foot long cedars, and it was really nice. I kind of put them on its edge for strength, and then I sealed them all together with the boiled linseed oil, which gave it that cool natural look to match the concrete. And the same thing with the fire pit. You assemble it together with the adhesive, and then you can purchase the fire pit insert, which comes with this iron oxide pigment, which kind of keeps it from fading under like prolonged UV exposure. So the area looks fresh, clean for years to come since the day you built it. What once was the saddest part of our backyard has now become our favorite place that we like to hang out in our backyard and create memories with our family. The coolest part about this project is that everything looks so custom and so grand that you would think we hired out, but it's incredible how Pavestone made it easy for us to do the work ourselves and create this incredible space that we can make memories in for years to come.
Well, that is it for me this week. I hope you guys liked this video. Like, comment, and share it with your friends. Make sure you comment down below any questions you have about this build or maybe something you would have done differently. If you're brand new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button right over there. We put a video out every single week and we don't want you to miss a single one. Big thank you to Pavestone and Home Depot for partnering us on this project. We couldn't have done it without you. Tune in this week. We'll see you guys next week. See ya. Bye.